My goodness, this is simply unbelievable. In order to solve the problem of Pakistanis often burning the bottom of their pots, this simple small workshop specializing in iron pot processing uses cheap recycled scrap steel plates to make large iron pots of quality that can be passed down for 3 generations. Those who often carry pots know that some pots look light on the surface, but in fact, ordinary people can't carry them at all. Just like the raw materials of the iron pot made by the 8th brother today, choose the scrap steel plates recycled from the dismantling of oil pipe trucks. Don't be fooled by the fact that these steel plates look very thick. The actual thickness is less than 1 meter. The first step in making them is to carefully mark the steel plates. Then the strong men from sanding will lift the steel plates onto the hydraulic alkali and use the hydraulic alkali to roughly cut the steel plates. Although this job is quite hard, the workers are very happy. There is no pressure and worry from 3 generations, no anxiety and uneasiness. Although it is also frugal, but fortunately life is easy and comfortable. But here workers will roughly divide the steel plate into small pieces first and then carefully cut the steel plate along the marked lines. Now they are making the round steel plate for the bottom of the pot. And the iron pot here is made by splicing steel plates. So it is necessary to inspect several fan-shaped steel plates so that the iron pot can be smoothly spliced into shape. Next, the steel plate needs to be transferred indoors for the next step of processing. The workers will put the steel plate into the hydraulic press. The concave and convex molds on the hydraulic press and shape the steel plate. This process requires adjusting the stress position of the steel plate little by little to ensure that the bottom of the pot with a perfect arc can be smoothly made. The fan-shaped steel plate that passes through the same body is also operated in the same way, but the difficulty of shaping is greater. It is necessary to rely on the rich experience of the workers to adjust the shaping arc of different positions of the steel plate to ensure that there is no problem in the splicing of the pot body structure. When the steel plate, after the shaping is completed, you need to use a grinder to grind the steel plate to quickly remove the oxides and impurities on its surface. After 2.5 minutes of careful grinding, you can start splicing the iron pot. First, you need to splice a fan-shaped steel plate on the bottom of the pot and carefully adjust the splicing angle. Then use electric welding to weld and fix the steel plate. Then you can start preparing for the splicing of the next wave body steel plate. Here you need to first put the steel plate. After the splicing is done to the appropriate position, mark the edge of the splicing and use hydraulic shears to cut off the excess part to ensure that the splicing of the steel plates can be perfectly fitted. Only after confirming that there are no problems with the splicing can it be welded and fixed. The remaining steel plates of the body are also operated in the same way. The splicing position must be carefully compared before cutting off the excess part of the steel plate to make the splicing of the entire body tighter and more complete. Even if the joints of the pot body need to be fully processed, this step is not difficult for the 8th level front bow. The joints on the outside of the pot body also need to be fully welded to improve the structural strength of the pot body and ensure that there will be no water leakage at the joints. After the welding is completed, it is necessary to use a sledgehammer to knock the position of the joint to release the stress generated inside the steel plate when it is spliced. Then the welding position needs to be welded. Fine grinding to ensure that the inside of the pot can be smoother and smoother. After the grinding is completed, the salt in the iron pot is not smooth, so the workers will use the original rules to make a horizontal mark on the salt and then use the hydraulic salt reduction mark to cut off the excess part. This will make the entire salt pot more regular and smooth. Next, you need to use a turning tool to draw staggered lines in the iron pot and then finally polish the pot body. The pot is made by welding the steel bars together. The whole process of making the pot is now complete. The quality of this pot is bound to last for 3 generations.